The Giants Cowboys on Thursday.
Do they play Monday then or something? I don't know. Anyways, they said I forget what it was, but there was enough days in between wherever they played. I don't remember what exactly it was, but sorry. Move on. Giants and Seahawks. Bad matchups ish for both quarterbacks. Geno, I think I have top 12. I have him at exactly 12. Daniel Jones, I have at 25 and probably moving down, as half the guys listed on this chart probably won't play. So what do you guys think?
Yeah, if they're not playing, my QB 24 ranking of Daniel Jones is far too high. He will have that rushing floor for you, and he's going to have to Josh Allen do it all himself, but he ain't no Josh Allen here, and the Seahawks are far more capable. The other thing, though, to consider is if Neighbors and or Singletary don't play, I don't know that Geno Smith needs to do everything that Geno Smith was doing last week. So right now I have him at QB 8. He's looked awesome. I believe in this offense. It might be too high just with the volume having to come down because they're playing the Giants this week.
Yeah, the one thing about the Giants is they can get to the pass rusher, or they can get to the passer with their defensive line and the ability to create pressures. And Geno is still living with the most amount of pressures in the NFL. Like, he's doing magic work back there. But yeah, like, you just gotta trust it. Geno's one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. Like, he's just shown that this year. He's been awesome. So I moved him above Burrow at QB 9. But yeah, it's kind of like this game could get out of hand where he's got to do it all in the first half and then just kind of sit down in the second half, which will lead us into our glorious Ken Walker discussion to talk about how high we have him ranked.
What I learned on Monday Night Football this past week is that we shouldn't face each other in spotlight games, because I'm always like, I'm a Lions home guy. You're a Seahawks fan. We faced each other in that big league where I'm the Lions and you're the Seahawks, and you were tweeting out. And there were a few times I almost you tweeted something about, man, the Lions can't stop DK Metcalf, and I found myself about to tweet, motherfucker, you're down 21 points. What are you talking about? And then I'm like, let it go, let it go. Let me live. I was getting into that one, man, and every time I'm getting into it, I'm going, man, the Lions are killing them. And then you're tweeting, I'm going, leave him alone. Let him have his fun. Let him enjoy it. I was like, move on. So back to this one. 13th best matchup for the Giants, 18th best for the Seahawks. We don't know if Singletary is going to play. It looks like he's not. So Ken Walker, I believe, is going to be top 10 or 12 for me. He looked fucking outstanding. I have him at 3. So yeah, I'd say that's top 12. The interesting one for me here, well, 2, I guess, is where do you put Zach Charbonnet? And what do you do with Tyrone Tracy? Are either of these guys good enough to be in the top 24? I have them both in the 30s, but Tyrone Tracy will be moving up, not significantly, but enough. If he's the starter, he'll probably move into top 24 range.
Mm-hmm.
You know what you do with Zach Charbonnet? You do what Ken Walker is doing to Zach Charbonnet, and you put his ass on the bench. Ken Walker, I know, has only had 16 touches last week, but he ripped off amazing play after amazing play. Was the overall, half PPR RB2 on the week. He's going to crush in this matchup. He's all they need. Now, Charbonnet will get some work. I think he's flex worthy here. But damn, Kenneth Walker looks so good. He's my RB1. I don't care about anyone else in this matchup. Ken Walker to the moon.
Yeah, like, and on the flip side, if we just removes a Singletary from the offense, I don't trust Eric Gray to get any competent volume. He's just not a good running back. So similar to what we were doing with Charbonnet, I'm firing up Tracy based on volume that he's going to get. Kind of like the zero RB lifestyle. And fine, he'll be basically my running back 24. I'll move him a few spots below Singletary, but not much more. Like, the Seahawks have given up some points to running backs. I don't mind it. On the flip side, yeah, like Ken Walker showed he's one of the most explosive, like, high-profile running backs in the league. He just runs at a different speed. He was absolutely running away from Lions defenders, and it was glorious to watch. Obviously, that game did not work out because they had no defensive line, but it was fun to see the offense do what they had to do against a team that gave up no points to running backs. Like, they were crushing running backs, and Ken Walker's like, dude, I got it. Don't worry about it. So, he's my running back 3. Like, he's just really good, man. His role's awesome.
I wanted to go on mid-game and kind of tweet out some form of interpretation of what Jeremy said, of how Walker had just completely pushed Charbonnet aside. And I was coming up with this big, well thought out tweet. And then I seen an analyst that's pretty well known just tweeted out, Ken Walker got that dog in him. And I'm like, just kill yourself. I
Damn it.
think I'm not doing this. And then I turned off social media and went back to the game. I'm just like, you're a moron. I fucking hate that. I'm sorry.
Here's the thing about Zach Charbonnet. He really didn't do much. He only received, it looks like 7 touches, but 5 targets, 5 receptions, 39 yards. He's still viable. And in a game like this, where you expect Seattle to be out ahead, they do not need to rely heavily on the passing game. I would expect Charbonnet to approach 10 touches, maybe even more, 12, possibly 15, if this gets out of hand early. And so he's definitely flex worthy. He's my RB26.
Yeah.
All right. The
Like,
wide receivers, nothing really noteworthy for the matchups. Neighbors, on the other end, may not play. That's a problem. Wandell will have a shitload of targets, but Daniel Jones targets. The 3 pass catchers are interesting on the Seattle side: DK Metcalf, JSN, and Tyler Lockett. I assume right now I have Neighbors ranked the highest, although I don't remember. It's still early, so I don't think I still have them at 4 because it's early and I haven't factored out, except for the people who are officially ruled out, I haven't taken most of them out. So then I have DK at 9. And then everybody else kind of falls in the 2-3 range for me. I'm trying to find who my next highest guy is in this game, but I can't seem to do it.
Yeah, I would assume it's JSN.
It is. I thought so too. It is. It's JSN. Sorry, JSN at 23. So yeah, it is JSN. What do you guys have for these guys here?
The DK Metcalf ascension continues. He's half PPR, wide receiver 7, and he only has 2 touchdowns on the year, right? So that just shows you what he's been able to do yardage wise, and with the volume that he's getting. He's my wide receiver 4 this week. I also have JSN at wide receiver 19. So DK may come down 2 spots potentially, but he's in that top 6 firmly. JSN might rise 2 spots, but those guys are pretty clearly a mid-range wide receiver 1 and a mid-range wide receiver 2 for me. Tyler Lockett, you can flex if you're in a pinch with the bye weeks, but I don't want to rely on it in a game where they should be ahead. So I think DK is the clear play, and JSN is what JSN is. You probably got to flex him. On the other side of the football, Neighbors is right up there with DK Metcalf. He's a wide receiver 1. Wandale should be a back-end wide receiver 2, but if Neighbors plays, I'm actually fading Wandale like we've all been talking about. It's just not a good offense without Neighbors.
Yeah, that's kind of the big issue. But if Neighbors plays, I'm going to have Wandale above JSN. Like, the volume and usage is really good. And, like, Neighbors is such a focal point for defenses. It's really hard to focus on anybody else. Like, you have to basically be like, all right, Neighbors is this entire offense, which he pretty much is, which frees up everyone else off. Because you look at the rest of the roster and you're like, that's not a good NFL offense. It's really not. On the flip side, DK Metcalf, he's a wide receiver 1 this week. Like, you know what you're getting from DK Metcalf. His usage is not high end enough where he's like a high end wide receiver 1, but he's just beating it consistently, being so good at what he's doing this year. It's really coming all together with him. JSN, I have as a back end wide receiver 2. The volume is it comes and goes. I think against the Giants, it'll come this week. Like, his usage and the way they used him last week. Yeah, they might need to do that. If they get into big leads, which he might suffer a little bit, and that's kind of a concern with him. And then Lockett, you kind of know it's like very up and down too. So he's wide receiver like 45, I think I have him.
Tight ends, we can close it out with on this game. I don't have either of them in the playable range for me. Where do we got? Barner. I don't have any of them. The interesting one for me is Barner. I included him over Noah Fant because I liked what I seen from Barner, and I think he's a good stash, especially in Dynasty, and he's taking over. But having said that, I don't have either of them ranked inside the top. Like, I have Bellinger at 56 and Barner at 59, so I'm not starting either. Tight end's bad. I don't know if it's that bad.
Yeah, these guys are in the back end 20s if you're, bullish on them. Barner only had 2 targets last week, converted them into 27 yards and a touchdown. They designed 2 plays for him where he was pretty much wide open, and they ran kind of the level scheme where they had a short, intermediate, and a deep. And he was just happened to be open on those intermediate and short routes. So
what did he have? 2 for what?
2 for 27. So who cares?
Tight end 4?
Throw the ball. Tight end 6 because he scored. Tight end 6.
Oh, okay. Tight end, you really? I was just was he really?
No,
That's awesome.
In standard, hang on, half PPR. Yes.
That's awesome.
So
that's awesome.
It is what it is. You can't play either of these guys, so let's move on.
That's outstanding.
Yeah, it's not good for these tight ends, right? And I will say Noah Fant's doubling the routes run of AJ Barner, so like it's gonna be a while. And I think Noah Fant is a better overall player. Like, I don't think Varner's taking his job. And Fant's there long term. So he's like a fun stash. If like an injury upside happens, then maybe there's something. And Bellinger, we hoped it would be Theo Johnson or Bellinger. It's been nothing of either one of those guys. So yeah, like you want to chase a touchdown? Chase a touchdown from the Seahawks if you want to do Fant if he's healthy. Because he hurt his shoulder, but I think he's playing. So yeah, that's the way
I cannot wait till Ben Sinnott is able to overcome Zach Ertz and can save the tight end world for the rest of us.
Our only hope, Sinnott.
He is the savior we deserve and we need.